With that down, let's move on to our fourth and final main topic today. And our fourth and final main topic today gets sent in to us by Logan Love Triangle, who writes, so, Deadline is reporting that the Chaos Walking film with Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley will get released January of 2021. What do you make out of this? After all the reports about how unreleasable this movie is, isn't it actually better to just let it burn? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Logan. And well, you know, we've had these discussions before about, look, Chaos Walking was a film that, by the way, was supposed to come out March 1st of 2019. This is going to be almost 2 years after its original release date. But as we talked about a lot of times on the show, the movie was an unmitigated mess. And it was, as some of the studio people defined it as, unreleasable. Now, this comes to us from the good folks over at Deadline, who wrote this. It was determined in mid-2018 that Chaos Walking needed an estimated $15 million of reshoots. But Daisy Ridley's schedule on Star Wars movies and Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Avengers pushed those reshoots. They tried, but they could not get them done in order to make their release dates or their second release date. Last May, it was reported that Don't Breathe director Fede Alvarez was helping out with those reshoots in Atlanta while Doug Liman remained on board. To give you an idea of the delay here, March 1st, 2019, the release date was the original release date at one time. This movie has been a complete mess. It has been a complete mess. There's no way getting around that. It absolutely is. The question, though, becomes, do you just cut bait and let it go? And this is a question that's come up a number of times with movies that have reportedly been really bad and all this kind of stuff. It's like, why bother releasing it? Why not just cut your losses and move on? Because you do have to put a bunch of money into the marketing of it and all that kind of stuff. That's a big price tag. But here's why you still release it anyway. At this point, you've spent the money on making the movie. You've invested, I don't know, I don't know the number off the top of my head, Rob, but let's for argument's sake say $80 million. It's probably more, but just for argument's sake, let's just say $80 million for the hell of it. You've spent $80 million. What are you going to do now? You're just going to burn that $80 million? So the question becomes, can you release the film and then take whatever amount of money it costs to release the film and market it? Can you at least make that much back at the box office? That's a much easier proposition, because as soon as you make more money than you spent on marketing, now you're eating into that $80 million of losses and it becomes worth it to release it. Maybe you don't break even, but right now you're looking at an $80+ million loss. Can you mitigate that loss by putting the movie out in theaters? With Daisy Ridley, Tom Holland, a sci-fi kind of thriller idea, I think if you spent $40 or $50 million on marketing this thing, I believe they can easily at least make that much back, and then they can start cutting into those losses. They'll probably still end up losing money, but they'll end up losing less money by releasing it than they would by just letting it burn on the shelf. And listen, I'm fascinated to see this film at this point. I mean,
me too.
I mean, so what? And I like Doug Liman as a director very much. I love Fede Alvarez. We love Tom Holland. I really like Daisy Ridley. I like the concept of it. So I think, yeah, it's a no, at least Rob, that's how I see it. I see it as a no-brainer to release this film. How do you feel about it?
Well, like you, I feel the same way. And also, with the people involved in doing the reshoots, what if it turns out to be pretty good? You know, what if it's a film that we're treating it like this is just a slow-moving car crash, and that there's nothing redeemable about it? But with the talent involved and the actors involved, and the fact that they have Fede Alvarez coming in, I love Don't Breathe, you know, and maybe he's adding, and Lyman's still involved, and there's something going on there that maybe they're able to. Look, movies are very iterative, and a lot of the time when movies don't work, we don't necessarily hear about it, and they go back and they make them work in post-production.
World War Z. World War Z is a great example of a film that was a disaster. They did a bunch of reshoots, redid the entire second and third act almost, and that movie ended up pretty good.
Yeah, and so what if this turns out to be pretty good? And, you know, if movies, they're part of Lionsgate will own it. It'll be part of its catalog. They can make maybe money back foreign. I mean, you can't just let something burn on the shelf. But man, they borrow money to make movies. The studios don't just sit on piles of money, and the interest charges are racking up. It's never good when you have a movie that's delayed this long. So we'll see. But I hope for the best. I like everybody involved, and I want it to be a good movie.
All right, question here is, guys, how do you feel about this? Do you feel like, at some point you just got to say, let's just give up on this movie, throw it away? Do you feel like we do? It's like, hey, maybe you can redeem it with those reshoots and you got to make some of that money back. How are you feeling about Chaos Walking right now? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys.